Yo, guys, here we are again. And like I said, if any of you saw it on the title or anything, before we jump right back into more Hades, I kind of need to talk about like some stuff here first and foremost, okay? So, if any of you have frequented certain sites, Twitter, sadly, you'd kind of know there has been some controversies lately. TLDR, there was some stuff going on with Larian Studios where it was revealed that during their conceptual art pieces, they're going to take utilizations of like certain AI generation and use references while exploring a whole bunch of other concepts, like notably with art and things of that nature. And then a old article got brought back up lately with like Expedition 33, which you pointed out how it also utilized like AI elements to it. So I want to quickly get some of these out of the way first. Starting with the Expedition 33 one, turned out all it was AI generated placeholder textures. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just placeholder textures. I don't fully know if it was presumably only due to Unreal Engine 5, because remember, the team primarily used Unreal Engine, so we have to keep in mind that Unreal Engine does have like a lot of like notable change-ups. Like with Unreal, they do have a lot of like tools in it that's AI powered, like the MetaHuman, which is basically used to help create like these presets and things of that nature for character models. So, sometimes you might see like folks using the MetaHuman like models just to create like certain characters, like NPCs, things of that nature in the background, etc. Now, as for that, like I said, they said it was primarily just placeholder textures, meaning it was only textures they used primarily as a placeholder and then reworked everything with their actual artists and everything. So there's that. And then with Larian Studios, they've basically constantly mentioned that they still have a ton of artists. They still have 23 concept artists, notably, with a total of about over 70 artists in total so far, and they're hiring more as the days goes on, which then sparked it all, as well as everything else that has been going on the last 2 years. Yeah, this AI stuff has been going on for 2 fucking years. So before I jump into it all, let me first give my stance out of I'm anti-AI. I am an anti-AI, primarily in the sense that a lot of, like, say, studios like Disney, Warner Brothers, all the notable studios, whether in the movie industry, game industry, etc., they utilize AI to try and, like, do cost measuring saves and things of that nature, which is very cruel. Notably, like when they try to utilize it and try to just make sure like a lot of great artists don't get their shine. A lot of great artists don't get their shine, which is always a terrible thing to see, Because there's so many great artists, so many great voice actors, mocap workers, game developers, all of these phenomenal people that work on these projects. And then you have a whole bunch of studios trying to like replace them with AI. And yeah, that's where it all really kicked in. So I just want to simply state my initial start of I hate when AI is utilized to basically replace the artists that actually work their hardest, as well as just basically being a cheap cost measuring cost instead of like allowing artists to really shine. I want to point that out because the thing about AI otherwise is it's a complicated beast. Like, despite all I've been saying, it's a complicated beast because what I've described has been some of the worst notable aspects of generative AI. However, AI in general as a tool is a bit of a different story. There are a lot of AI-powered tools and a lot of machine learning tools that can assist like a whole bunch of people. whether it's the research field or even creative fields. There are uses of it that can be ethical. The problem is there's so many unethical uses of it, notably in the last 2 years. Whether it's in like smaller things like videos that don't do well, or generally like other sites or things of that nature that just don't use voice actors or anything of the sort for like audiobooks and the like, such as Pocket FM or things of that nature. I think there is a good utilization of AI. The problem is there's so many terrible actors and so many AI pros that try to use it just to outright replace creatives. And that's horrible. That's an awful business practice. Am I against AI tools? No. Only if it's done ethically. Like, if it's not going to hurt the environment and do a lot for people there, if it's just used to help like creatives make their vision come true, if it's used to help people with other various things, like say, a lot of certain industries like in warehouses and things of that nature may utilize certain machinery that can help make the ease of things easier, as well as prevent unnecessary damages to other people, you know? Because how many stories have there been with like warehouse jobs and so many people gain their own injuries that alter them for the worst, not good ways, you know? How many have suffered? So many. So I'm fine with AI being used as long as it is genuinely trying to help people. The problem is there's a lot of bad actors out there. There's a lot of people that utilize AI for the worst possible directions and also use it just because they don't care. Some of these people do not care about what makes good stories. A lot of these people do not care about what makes phenomenal art. These are people that will claim themselves to be artists, but they've only typed something into a prompt. They don't have the idea of how to create. They never knew. They don't care. That's the people you go after. So, flying back to Larian and the like, what are my general thoughts about that? Yeah. I'm not hating on it. I'm not liking it. All I can just really say is like, why not use Google? And it's clear they still have their concept artists, so for all I know, I don't know the deepest parts of like what their development is going to look like. I don't know if it's like they'll use some of it, but then use none of it. Like, I don't know if it's like one of the tools they utilize in order to like get an idea of what they want to go for. But for all I know, they'll still utilize a bunch of their creatives they do have and then try to work with stuff like that. For instance, to give you all an idea, there could be something they find from Google that AI couldn't really do. Or in general, one of their creatives on the concept art team that finds a brand new reference that they drew up and they're like, ooh, we're going to use that more. Let's take that advantage of it more. The concept art stuff is always a very difficult process to really delve into, and I'm not even that in-depth with all things nature of it. And as for the Expedition 33 stuff, I feel like they needed to really like be more specific. Is it like just the tools you use in Unreal Engine that utilizes some generation from it, or did they use a separate tool? I needed a little more info on that, but it's also clear they only used it like temporarily, and then when they realized, oh, we missed this, we should probably get that patched out. That was something. So to give you more of an idea, like, I'm mostly anti-AI, but I do acknowledge there's like a lot of nuance with AI and how there's a lot of like good it can do. There's also a whole bunch of bad actors that use it. Kind of like how with TTS, it can help. TTS is one of those things that can help people out, whether it's like some people don't want to reveal their real voice or their real face online, so they'll use text-to-speech to utilize something to like keep them from not being discovered. And when I use text-to-speech, I mean the actual text-to-speech voices you would get, not AI-generated voices. I need you all to remember that there is going to be a difference here. When I mean AI-generated voices, I mean the stuff you'd hear like, say, taking a classic actor's voice without their permission and just saying, boom, this character with this person's voice says this. there's a lot of risks with that, and it's a dangerous thing to do. For instance, like, let's say let's say Erica Lindbeck, because I know she went through this a long while ago, and she did ask for it to come down and everything. Let's say someone use her voice to say some of the most racist, sexist, horrific things imaginable, and someone in the studios thought that was actually her. That's a terrifying thing to do, because you're hurting someone whose career it is with a lie. Now, text-to-speech still has its uses. That's why I'm separating the differences between AI-generated voices and text-to-speech. And before anyone asks,
stuff like this is not AI-generated anything.
It's basically effects and stuff like that. It becomes more of a problem if those effects start using actual people's voices. Voice changer uses like more effects-based stuff that uses AI-powered stuff, but it's mainly just for like effects. It's not trying to steal people's voices or anything of the nature. Same with text-to-speech. Text-to-speech has more uses for it. For instance, there's a lot of folks that will lose their voice in one way or another. Maybe they lose it in a horrible accident. Maybe they'll lose it due to age or any horrible illness. So some people definitely use text-to-speech, for instance, to go with that. However, it becomes a problem with, say, AI voices when it's just taking the other person's voice, claiming it as your own, and not doing anything with it. That's kind of a big problem, as well as, like, notable folks that use AI voices are basically using it as a sense of laziness. They don't care about the actors. They don't care about, like, why the actors would like a chance to get perform. Because there's a ton of great voice actors. There's a ton of great actors always wanting to do something new, something fresh, or just something fun. And some of these people don't give them that chance, which is horrible to do. So, TLDR for anyone that's wondering, AI has its place, but it needs to be a tool. And it should never be used by the bad actors that just use it to get rid of creatives, nor should it be sense of laziness. Oh, and as for ChatGPT, write your damn essays! Or use Wikipedia, which actually has sources. Thank you.